Star Citizen is a game that allows multiple ways to play. Mining, trading, bounty hunting, and criminal activities are all valid gameplay loops in the eyes of the developers. However, there is always a debate surrounding the morality of these. Frustrations get thrown around by all sides, and I've been guilty of it myself, which usually ends up with the same points being made time after time. Over 90% of the player base are PvE and non-combat players, which means their frustrations are heard and related to by more of the game's community. Now before you say anything, I am well aware that there are PvE and non-combat players on both sides of the opinion spectrum, and for the sake of this video, and my breath, we'll refer to them as Bobs, which, by the way, isn't a derogatory term. It's easier to say that than PvE and non-combat players. But before we start, I want to state that I enjoy a wide range of games. Most of my nearly 1000 hours in Fallout 4 were spent base building, and I look forward to base building and the base raiding and defense when it arrives in Star Citizen in 10 years. I strongly believe in the vision that was shown to us at CitizenCon. Having all the different gameplay loops working together is compelling and will result in a well-balanced experience for us all. There's a reason why I joined an org that has all the gameplay loops covered. So with that out of the way, I think the best way I can portray my argument is through an analogy, especially with the high amount of role players in the game. You may be aware of a game called Baldur's Gate 3, based on the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Now I never played D&D, so Baldur's Gate 3 is my point of reference. Baldur's Gate offers multiple ways to play, and you can be the hero who saves everyone, or you can be the villain. 99% of the time I play Baldur's Gate, I play as the villain, whether that's as the Dark Urge or not. It was the same when I played through the Fallout games, which is probably my favourite video game franchise. I remember my first playthrough vividly. I went straight to Megaton and was offered a large reward by a shady figure called Mr. Burke to detonate a nuclear bomb that resided in the middle of the town. So I immediately strolled on down to Tenpenny Tower and witnessed the beautiful nuclear explosion in the distance. In most forms of media, the perspective is telling the hero's story. We don't often see the perspective of the villain, and to me, it's a refreshing experience because it's so different than what's usually available. You see, Star Citizen offers a way for some of us to be that bad guy. I don't want to ruin your day or cause you emotional damage. Instead, I aim to enhance your gameplay experience, as having a sense of risk makes for a much more engaging game because players like myself want to be the boss of the game. Through hours of practicing PvP, I am able to play out the fantasy of being that feared individual. I love the idea of people celebrating when they kill me, partly because it feeds my ego, but it also allows players to salvage my ship for the higher tier components I've spent time working towards, similar to defeating that raid boss in World of Warcraft for the higher tier loot. Now I get it, not everyone wants to have PvP forced upon them when they've spent a stressful day at work, but in my opinion, if you're playing a game that can cause stress when you don't want to be stressed, that is unfortunately a you issue. There are other games out there that can replicate what you're looking for, and I strongly recommend you to play those games if you want a relaxing time. Your emotional state isn't my responsibility, and you should take care of yourselves. It sounds harsh, but that's unfortunately the nature of Star Citizen. So yeah, I hope this helps to either change your mind or make you aware that we're all playing different games within the same game. Some people want to be esports stars, some of us just want to make a ton of money, and some of us just want to be the big bad boss in a game that lets all of us play out our fantasies after growing up watching, reading, and playing through all the stories that filled up our childhoods. Because at the end of the day, Star Citizen is just a game, and we shouldn't allow a game to affect our mental states. We're all here to have fun and experience the highs and lows of online gaming. Take it easy, Bobs and Griefers.